say I'm just wild about Harry.
Well, we're going to go to the Harry S. Truman Presidential Museum and Library. So let's walk on in. There he is, Harry S. Truman.
And I expect to continue the effort to help shorten the war and win the peace under the direction of our great leader, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Returning to Washington with Mr. Roosevelt, Harry Truman was now the Vice President-elect. In his first speech after his inauguration, Vice President Truman said,
"If American democracy is to survive, Germany and Japan must be defeated in battle and thereby taught to respect the rights of other nations."
Surface units of the Pacific Fleet are bombarding Iwo Jima. Aircraft of the Strategic Air Force are now attacking military targets in and around Tokyo.
The Operation Be Alive on all fronts has now brought the German war to its final stage. We must continue fighting till the final count. We know our enemy well. We must expect him to fight hard to save our country.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. President Roosevelt is dead. The president died of a cerebral hemorrhage. All we know so far is that the president died at home.
An era has come to an end. For us, it is more like the death of a father than of an official.
This nation has suffered this day a staggering loss. Vice President Harry Truman, who from here on will be President Truman, went immediately to the White House.
The gravest question mark in every American heart is about Truman. Can he swing the job? Despite his limited capabilities, I think he can.
He comes into office almost unknown to the people at large, and they will await with great anxiety the result of the test that he has to meet.
Roosevelt was a great architect. Perhaps Truman will be a good carpenter.
When people think of President Truman, it is with a mixture of friendliness, loyalty, and gentle skepticism.
No man ever came to the presidency of the United States under more difficult circumstances than does Harry S. Truman.
It would be foolish to pretend that President Truman possesses the qualities of leadership needed by the nation at the moment.
Went immediately to the White House.
The gravest question mark in every American heart is about Truman. Can he swing the job? Despite his limited capabilities.
13-year-old Harry Truman.
He comes into office almost unknown to the people at large, and they will await with great anxiety the result of the test that he has to meet.
Roosevelt was a great architect. Perhaps Truman will be a good carpenter.
When people think of President Truman, it is with a mixture of friendliness, loyalty, and gentle skepticism.
No man ever came to the presidency of the United States under more difficult circumstances than Harry S. Truman.
It would be foolish to pretend that President Truman possesses the qualities of leadership needed by the nation at the moment.
Truman had a fizz. Here's his Masonic pin.
Truman for the office of President of the United States, Franklin Roosevelt.
Democrats convened in Chicago to elect presidential and vice presidential nominees. Senator Harry S. Truman of Missouri is
President Roosevelt is dead. The president died of a cerebral hemorrhage. All we know so far is that the president died in
An era has come to an end. For us, it is more like the death of a father than of an official.
I brought my battery forward under fire.
Complete a mission with Captain Harry Truman. Move the charge lever. Complete. Okay. I'm trying to aim the gun. Okay, gotta do it twice. I destroyed the target.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to get like $200,000 or something like that. This was going to cost them to do the whole state, 105. And it came up short, so what they're going to do is
his life. He wrote Bess, "I wouldn't be left out of the greatest history-making epic the world has ever seen, for all there is to live for." At a training camp in Oklahoma, Truman started a successful canteen with Eddie Jacobson, a man who would later become a business partner and lifelong friend. After 7 months in Oklahoma, Truman was sent to France for artillery training. Though he had only attended some college, he suddenly found himself taking advanced trigonometry and high-level engineering courses, studied more and worked harder in the last 3 weeks than I ever did before in my life, Harry wrote Bess. He was soon promoted to captain, in charge of Battery D, notorious for their rowdy behavior, and for running through captains.
D Battery was a pretty wild bunch of Irish. They had 2 or 3 other captains, and none of them could handle them.
I didn't care much for Truman. I didn't care much for the idea of going through a war.
During the first battle in France, Truman proved his mettle. He positioned his battery on a mountain facing German encampments across the valley and began a barrage of fire.
We were firing away, having a hell of a good time doing it, until we woke somebody up over there.
When the Germans started firing back, a shell burst near Truman, and his horse fell on top of him. A lieutenant pulled him out, but in the chaos, a sergeant panicked and ordered the men to run and take cover.
I hit the ground. I led the parade. That was the battle of who run? We all run. Captain Truman was about the only one that didn't run.
Truman couldn't contain his fury. I got up and called them everything I knew, he later recalled. Pretty soon, they came sneaking back. In the final weeks of the war, the 129th Field Artillery moved into action in Verdun. They fired their last shots 15 minutes before the armistice took effect. Harry wrote Bess, "I brought my battery forward under fire and never lost a horse nor a man."
He had a very quiet sort of way of serving as a leader. He was a disciplinarian, but very fair. I can't describe what the personal magnetism was, except that he had it.
At the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918, the Great War ended. Truman returned home to independence with a newfound confidence that would serve him well in the future. The confidence to lead.
Accentuate the positive, lead them. The Press Association has just announced that President Roosevelt is dead. The president died of a cerebral hemorrhage.
Vice President Harry Truman, who from here on will be President Truman, went immediately to the White House.
Inside in the historic cabinet room, Vice President Harry S. Truman takes the oath of office as 32nd President, administered by Chief Justice Harlan Fiske-Stone. Mrs. Truman is at his side. President Truman asks the full Roosevelt cabinet to remain in office, expressing his intention to carry on American policies as formulated by the Roosevelt administration.
New Secretary of State, he knows Marshall, a tough, practical war hero, understands the consequences of letting communism go unchecked. In Turkey, the Soviets are pressuring the cash-strapped government, and in Greece, support for Greece and Turkey urges America to embrace its role as a world leader. Tractors instead of tanks.
The face of totalitarian regimes reach their full growth when the hope of the people for a better life has died.
Now, I've heard that this city of Seneca Falls all my life. I was in the genre of the British movement.
On the attack.
This is a real crusade. It's no people against special interests, and you got to fight that out to the end.
He's attacking the Republican Congress, not doing it.
In 140 talks before an estimated 2 million listeners across the nation.
He proposed sending a multinational force to Korea. The Soviets possession, but the UN Security Council approves it. For the first time since the UN all vacuum. For better or for worse, Truman's decision to bypass Congress sets up the midst to defending South Korea.
We will continue to take every honorable step we can to avoid general war, but we will not engage in appeasement.
General Douglas MacArthur wants 30,000 troops. Truman agrees, but maintains that this will be a limited war to protect South Korea. Most Americans support
You relieve General MacArthur so that there will be no doubt or confusion as to the real purpose and aim of our policy.
calls come for Truman's impeachment. MacArthur comes home to a hero's welcome. Truman's approval rating, already below 30%, falls even lower. Korea remains a stalemate. While peace talks began in July 1951, battles rage and still on today.
Right here is the Oval Office. A replica. courtyard. And Truman's grave. Now they have one of these eternal flames over here. There's the eternal flame that was dedicated. That's the eternal flame of freedom in this courtyard. Memory to President Harry S. Truman. We still have to wear COVID masks while we're here. That's why Gypsy Lynn is looking so dapper and pleased with her mask on. That's why I'm not talking too much, because yeah, I'll be muffled and breathing like that, but we're following the rules standard by the federal government here.
I'll let you go first.
Here is the graves of Bess Wallace Truman and Harry Truman. Pay our respects to the Truman family. This is Margaret Truman's grave. The old farm buggy. '41 Chrysler Windsor sedan. Right here is a 1941 Chrysler Royal Club Coupe. And this is a ride. This is a 1950 Lincoln Cosmopolitan. You knew you were styling when you had one of them. Here's Truman's table.